Okay, everyone, welcome to the JollyGM RPG vlog website broadcast thingy. Whatever it is I'm doing, that's what I'm doing right now. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to go over some simple combat rules for the Conan 2D20 Modifius rule set. And I'm doing that using Fantasy Grounds because I like Fantasy Grounds. Fantasy Grounds is one of the premier virtual tabletops on the market. That's right, you heard it. One of the best. But it's not the only one. So Fantasy Grounds may not be for everybody, but I'm telling you right now it's for me and I like it. It's really cool. So what I'm going to go do today is I'm going to go over combat in Conan 2D20. And that's what it is I'm doing. But anyway, right now is this is going to be a very simple rule set system. So what am I going to fight? I think I'm going to fight a berserker. That's what I'm going to fight. And I'm just getting things set up here now. We want to have a nice map. I'm going to get a map. What map can I use? Let's see. We are going to use the cave shrine. That's what we're going to use. So just stand by, folks, as I bring it on to... There we go. Alright, so what I'm doing, here it is. This is it right now. Combat Conan 2D20. We're going to be rocking it out. Alright, so I got a Gavril the Mercenary, and he is armed with a broadsword. I'm going to drag him onto the map there now, and I'll make him this size. And I'm going to take the Berserker, and I'm going to put him there. Alright, so the way combat works in Conan is everything is kind of more abstract than it is fine detailed movement of what you do with your characters and so forth. Alright, so this is what I'm doing. So the way combat works is everything's based on zones, and it's kind of abstract, so it's not super detailed, but it is pretty crunchy. So combat can be pretty long if you're not all that familiar with the rules, and it can still be drawing things out. So I am trying to keep combat in my games as fast as possible. Depending on the players that I'm playing with, it could take a while. But the way it works is you have your zones, and every character has the option to do as many free actions as they'd like, and they can do one minor action, and they can do one standard action. So that is the very basics of it. So what I have what I am doing right now is how do I say this? You have your free actions, minor actions, and your standard actions. So I'm going to bring up just this to show you what those actions are. So actions in combat, what can you do? Damage. Actions during your turn. There we go. There it is. So I got the rules right here. You have your minor actions, and this is all the minor actions. You have your free actions. Adjust. Oh, I gotta fix that. And you have your standard actions, and you have your reactions. I'll bring that up later. So you get to do any number of free actions, one minor action, and one standard action. So in the, let's see here, what am I going to do? I'm going to assume that weapons are already drawn, and that there's no special particular rules in this map for moving around, because usually if you need to move from one zone to the next, you got to you know, there could be a difficulty roll to do it, to move from one zone to the next. I just had an problem with my account here. 1 second. All right, so as I was saying, you have your different actions that you can do. As a GM, there's no initiative in this game. The players get to decide what they want to do. Because the GM can interrupt things, he can spend Doom to allow his NPCs to act before the other characters. So the way this game here works is that I gotta give myself some Doom first of all. So the GM would have 3 Doom, and right now there's currently no momentum in the pool. But you generate momentum. Momentum is based on your skills, and if you make a really good skill roll, the successes over and above what you require give you momentum, and that's where all the fancy smancy stuff comes in. So I'm assuming that the map is clear, there's nothing big that's going on. I can move anywhere within the zone for free. So as you can see the line out here on this map, I can move anywhere in the zone for free. But I'm going to move into the next zone, and I'm going to engage this berserker that's right here. And because I'm the player and the GM is not going to use any Doom at the moment, then you know, that's pretty much what's going to happen. So I'm going to move into here, and I'm going to engage with this berserker, and I'm going to target this berserker. So I target the berserker by holding down. Once I select my character, I can hold down my control key and select my target, and as you can see the line shows up. So I'm moving in and I'm going to target this berserker. So that's my minor action. To move from one zone to the next is a minor action. So now I'm going to attack. So The way a berserker, the way combat works in this is, if it's a minion, there's three categories of NPCs. There's minions, toughened characters, and nemesis characters. So minions can never defend, okay? They can't do stuff like that. But so they can get hit pretty much. If you roll enough to hit, you can. But toughened characters can react, and they can spend Doom to parry. So I'm looking at their character sheet. They have no ability, nothing that stops or reduces the amount of Doom it would cost to parry. If you have a sword, you can parry for free for 1. But this berserker doesn't. And all he has is a great axe. So he is going to spend some Doom to parry. So now it becomes a contest of skills. So Gavril, he's going to take his character sheet now, and he is going to try and roll an attack. So he wants to get as many successes as possible based on a D1. So a D1 is you have to get at least 1 success. So I'm looking at his character sheet here now. And where is his melee skill? So there's no momentum in the pool. So I'm going to actually spend some momentum. And I'm going to spend, let's see here, 2. And that's going to give me 2 extra dice on my next roll. So now I'm going to go to my melee skill and I'm going to roll. And I'm trying to get anything on my dice, anything that's an 11 or less is a success. And if it's a 2 or less, it actually counts as 2 successes. So I am going to roll, see what happens. Okay, so here we go. So I rolled the dice and I got 2 successes. Now I also got a 20. In 20, it's almost the same as a critical failure, but what that does, it adds Doom to the Doom pile or other things. But for now, we'll keep it simple and we'll just say that Doom is added to the Doom pit. So I get 2 Doom for every, the GM gets 2 Doom for every dice rolled. So the GM is up to 4. Alright, but I did hit. So now it's up to the Berserker to try and defend. So coordination is the dice, is the skill set, is the skill that you use for parry, and it's a little different for the NPCs on how the skills work, but I'm not going to go into that right now, so you'll just have to trust me. But coordination is 9, his combat dice are 2, so what happens here is he really has a 11 and 2 skills. Target number of 11 and the focus number of 2. So he is going to roll. What is he going to do? 11s and 2s. I'm going to buy 1 dice worth, and he's going to roll 3. So that actually lowers my Doom now because NPCs spend from the Doom pile. So he rolls 3 dice. And I'm looking for 11s and 2s. So I got 3 successes, which means he successfully parried. And that's it. That's the end of the turn there. So now my Berserker, he's going to attack. And he's going to target Gavril. He is only going to roll his 2d20. He's not going to spend any extra Doom. Does he have any... let's see what his Doom spends are here. Reckless Assault. A Berserker hurls himself into battle without regard of his own safety. When he makes a close combat attack, he may choose to gain 1, 2, or 3 bonus momentum on the attack. 1 second, I have a dog that's barking for some reason. I apologize for the dog that's in the back right now, but so be it. So anyway, here is so Reckless Assault. However, until the start of the next turn, all enemies gain the same amount of bonus momentum against their attacks. So the Berserker is going to go all out. He is going to use 3 momentum. So I'm just going to add that in the effects status here, just so it helps me remember. Berserker 3, and that stays until the next round. So he's just going to roll 2 dice, and he's going to try to get 1 success. Now, Gavril, he is also going to try and parry. So, I would like to thank Fantasy Grounds College for subscribing to my YouTube account. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. It just popped up. Anyway, so Gavril is going to try and parry that. He has a broadsword, and he has the ability to parry for free for the first time. So his parry is free. So it's going to become a contest of skills. Anyway, so the Berserker is going to attack. And he's going to roll 2d20, and he's looking for 11s and 2s. Oh my goodness, look at that. He's got 3 successes. Alright. So Gavril now has to get at least 3 successes to parry. So far he is going to, well, he's going to spend the Doom to roll 3 dice, and he is going to roll his parry skill. Okay, so here's what happened. I had 3 successes from the Berserker. Gavril gets 2 successes. So, Berserker has more successes, which means he's hit. But he hit with 1 additional success more. So that translates into extra momentum, with 1 extra momentum. Now, because he used the Berserker 3, plus the momentum he just gained, he has 4 momentum to add to the to his particular roll to see what happens. So the Berserker, he's going to go ahead and roll damage and see what happens. So, and he's using a great axe. Alright, here goes. So, because he used the great axe, he actually rolled really poorly here. He done 3 effects, but he got Vicious 3, which means every... I'll bring it up so everyone can read it. So what happens here is that an attack with this quality inflicts X additional damage for each effect roll. So he has Vicious 1. He rolled 3 effects, so it actually does 6 points of damage. Alright, so let's look at what some of the momentum that we can use and what we can do here with momentum. So he is going to use, he has a total of 4 momentum right now. And first thing he's going to do, he's going to spend 1 momentum to reroll any number of damage dice from the character's current attack. So everything that is a 4 and a 3, he's going to re-roll. So he's going to roll 3d6. And he's got another effect and a 1. So the total damage would be 3, 4, 5. And for each effect, he brought 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 9 damage total. Now Gavril, let's see where it hits Gavril. Hits Gavril in the head, and it just so happens that Gavril is not wearing any armor. So that's too bad for Gavril. So that's 9 points of damage. So the way it works is that you do 9 points of damage, so 13 subtract 9 is 4. And the way combat works and the way damage works is oh, thanks, Fantasy Grounds College. Conan, yeah, it's one of my favorites too. I just seen your text there. But yeah, no, Conan has been something that I've been reading about for years now, and I grew up reading Conan. And the fact that there's a RPG out there that emulates Robert E. Howard's actual writings, I think it's fantastic. But anyway, back to the combat. So 9 points of vigor damage get through, so that reduces his vigor down to 4. Because the way combat works in the way damage works in Conan is that if you do 5 points of damage or more in one round, you automatically inflict a trauma. So that goes to 4. Alright. Now I have 3 extra momentum that I can spend. And what can I use it on? Three extra momentum. And what's going to happen now is that I'm going to spend 2 of those 3 and do a swift action. And the swift action allows you to act the second time. So combat is going to go all over again. So I got 1 momentum left over. So I'm not going to spend any extra dice. Actually, yes, I will spend that last momentum to allow me to roll 3. So I'm looking for 11s and 1s. So, or 11s and 2s, sorry. So I got 4 successes. Wow, he's getting his butt kicked. 4 successes. Gavril's going to try the parry, but because he already parried once, it's now going to cost him 1 extra doom to parry. So he is going to... He's not in the mood to get smoked. So he's going to now going to spend some more doom. He's going to spend 3 more doom to roll 5 dice on his parry. Now before I roll, the swift action is that the Berserker just took is based on a difficulty 2, which means he has to get at least 2 successes to be able to hit. So currently right now, he has 4 successes, which means he's hit with 2 momentum. So now Gavril needs to get more momentum than him. So he's going to try and parry. And let's roll the dice, see what happens. Look at that, he got 5 successes. Alright, so he actually successfully parried his attack. Alright, so now round 2. And I'm going to have Gavril go again. So now he is already wounded, so which means everything he does that's physically based is an extra level of difficulty. Right? Things get a little harder as you, the more wounded you get. So he has yet to do anything successful. He's been actually a big loser so far, so we're going to try and change that. See what happens. So he's going to try to up whatever skills. He's going to attack. The Berserker is going to spend a Doom. Now I gotta spend the Doom to parry. So that goes down to there. So Gavril, what's he going to do? He's going to spend 3 Doom to roll 5 dice. So I put the 3 down in the box, and he's going to go to his ranged melee attack, and he is going to roll. So he has 3 successes. Now, remember that Berserker ability? Which means if he succeeds, where the Berserker is all out fighting, anything extra is... I'll bring it up here. Reckless assault. The Berserker hurls himself in the battle without regard. He may choose to gain 1, 2, or 3 bonus momentum on the next attack. However, until the start of the next turn, all enemies gain the same amount of bonus momentum on their attacks against the Berserker. So that's actually still in effect. So there's 3 bonus momentum against them. So it's a D2. It would normally is a D1 because he's wounded as a D2. So he has 1 success over what he needs. He has a hit with 1 success. But the Berserker used a bonus of 3, which means he actually has a hit with 4 successes now, because it's that plus that 3. So the Berserker is going to try to parry, and he needs to get... He needs to try and parry, so let's see what happens. I'm looking for 11s and 2s. He's not going to roll any extra dice, so let's see what happens. So 3. Alright, so he rolled 3 successes. So the total there, this is where the math gets a little crazy, is he hit, Gavril hit with 1 momentum, with 1 extra success. So he has 1 bit of momentum. I'm going to put that 1 in there. And now he's going to roll some dice and see what happens. So here he goes. He's going to roll the dice. He's got 6 total. And let's see where he hits. The head. The Berserker, does he have any armor? He does. He have armor too. So Gavril's going to spend that 1 momentum that he just had to reduce his piercing, which adds AP to his armor. So he's going to negate the armor that's on its head. So he did 6 points of damage. So here's the rub. This is what gets interesting right now. 6 points of damage gets through. Now a toughened character can take 2 wounds. Because the damage did more than 5, it does a wound. So he gets a wound. And there you go. Now, Gavril is going to do, you know something? He knows that if he takes another hit, he's going to get wounded. So he's going to spend a fortune. And by spending a fortune, he will take a second action for free that doesn't cost any extra difficulty. So that's what he's going to do. And he's going to spend 3 momentum again. There's 3 doom to add 5 dice to the roll. This Berserker is not going to try and parry at this time. So I'm looking for D2s now because he's wounded. So anything more, I need at least 2 successes. So I got 6 successes, which means I hit with 4 momentum. So I got 4 momentum to spend. Now I'm going to roll the damage, see what happens. So I did 9 points of damage total. And that would be actually enough to kill him. Anyway, that's my little bit of a roll. And yeah. As you can see already, this game is crunchy. But it can go fast if players know the rules and the GM knows the rules. Now it takes a little longer for me because I am explaining it as I go. But it can be a little daunting. That's one issue about this, but I think like any type of same as the Star Wars RPG where you have narrative dice, it pays off in a great story, because in my mind, in the way this game system worked here just then, is Gavril moves in to attack and the Berserker defends. Alright, he takes a big swing, Gavril swings his broadsword, and the Berserker brings up his great axe, blocks it. Bang! Alright, so then the Berserker freaks out and he goes all ape all over Gavril. Alright, so much he actually does a fury of 2 attacks, one of which gets through and wounds Gavril. Alright, so he's swinging like a madman here now, crazy. He's frothing at the teeth, frothing at the mouth, and Gavril is barely able to defend himself. So on the next round, Gavril like, hey, I need to do something. So he actually attacks back, and because of the reckless assault with the Berserker, he's actually able to hit quite easily. Alright, and if it wasn't for that extra momentum gathered from the reckless assault, he wouldn't have hit. He actually would have missed. But he did hit, and he wounded the Berserker, and then he said, you know something, if I don't fight him now or kill him now, he's going to get me. So he decides to spend a fortune point to go again, and he attacks again. So you get this big mad rush of combat, and I think it adds to the story. Anyway, that is what it looks like. Anyway, guys, if you got questions, feel free to post it in the comments below. Questions, whatever. Feel free to subscribe, and if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. And anyway, you guys have a great day. And remember, this is the JollyGM, and I'm Jolly, and this is my blog streaming page. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Thanks.